Hello, everybody. I know what's up. Thank you for coming and welcome to Guard and Quilt and Art Show, where good friends become family, and family is everything. Okay, let me see if I can see the chat. I found out some strange things that happened last time, so I'll wait and see if anybody comes in. I will wait and see. Don't know. Show. Never miss a comment, so I don't want to see that. Hello, everybody. Oh, can't post to some channels. Okay, so we'll see what happens. So, not sure if I'm live or not. Not sure. Ah, okay. Better late than never. Thank you, Dolores. I did not bring my ear things, but if you can come in and tell me if I need them, just put earphones in. But thanks to you and our little chat area, drops. Long time no see, dude. How you doing? How's it going out there in the Midwest where you are? Live and living color and all your gardens and everything. Haven't seen you for a long time. I started early because I was afraid I couldn't do it. This is a new platform for me, Sayama Restream, and I didn't know if I was going to do it like a big girl or not. So thank you, thank you, thank you, and welcome. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. I just started going live on Ustream on Saturday, and some weird things happened. People were timed out. Well, one person was, or I didn't know they had a bot on this platform. But you live and you learn. Okay, no headphones needed. Good, good, because Yame Obida, I forgot them. Nikki, the everyday life of an OCD ish chick like me. Tell you guys something funny. I have a new helper, a new aide, and she said the same thing. She's OCD ish. We get along just fine because once I show her where things go for me or where I like to find them, guess what? They're always there. I don't spend like 99 years looking for them. For those of you who are new, welcome. Those of you who are coming back, welcome back. Mike, I replayed the video from last week. Sorry that you were beaten up by bot. I didn't even know Restream had a bot. And I'm learning how to get around all over these streets, these social media streets. Of course, Mike, that I would never do that. So I appreciate each and every one of you. So, those of you who are new to the channel, this channel is about me, Auntie Ellen, who, as the doctor said yesterday, PIA. Thank you, Tracy. She's driving and listening. I went to the rheumatologist to talk to about some ooch me's and ouch me's and some test results. And she said, "Oh, well, you are 75 years old." And I'm like, "Thanks for reminding me." No, but I'll be 76 in a couple of weeks, which we will celebrate. So, this channel, for those of you who are new, is about me being alive for 8 generations. Happy Mac, thank you for coming and welcome. Dolores, Karen, Happy Mac, and anybody else I didn't see. I'm trying to figure out where to look on this particular screen to find you guys. And 8 generations that I have been alive. There are 6 living generations. I went to see mommy on Sunday, and apparently she had seen the live Saturday night, and she was asking me, the lady that was on the show painting with you, 755 Media, shout out. Mommy was saying, where is she from? I said, Mom, we didn't get around to that. I will ask her. Oh, Mike says he knows it wasn't on purpose. Yeah, so, life happens. Juanita Campbell, thank you for coming. And welcome, welcome, welcome. Work me drops. Drops thought I was 23. Uh, you know, when I was 23, it was a very good year. It was a very good year because of stuff. But let me see, where was I at age 23? 23. No, when I was 24, I had 2 children. I had just qualified for my job that I thought I could do something to change, not the world, but at least some parts of it. I thought 5'5.5" and 124 pounds, but I became a police officer in the District of Columbia, the DMV. But I had to gain weight. I had to get up to 135 pounds of muscle. Drop said, ha ha ha, I'm singing the love. Yeah, I do whatever low wants, because when you're blessed enough, it's not luck, because luck is where planning and divine intervention come into place, and that's just life. So I am in shape. I'm in shape for 76 years old. This is my natural hair. Natural meaning the curls, the color, everything. I put some lips on. I wear my earrings, but I do the best that I can do. My blood pressure was, I think, 126 over 70, but it was up a little bit because they put that tight thing on my arm. I don't like people touching me. I don't like people getting next to me. Oh, 755 is originally from Detroit. Oh, my last husband was from Detroit. Yeah, had a couple of two or three. He was from, no, he was originally from Alabama, from Birmingham, and then his dad was signatory to a union and construction. They moved to Detroit, and then I met my husband in LA. Why? Because I was a chick on when we went out on Fridays, me and my girls sitting in the corner when the guys were trying to buy everybody a drink. They couldn't buy me a drink. I had my own money. Had them big old brown legs crossed, looking like Mama's fried chicken. Our treasured home. Nancy, thanks for coming. I've been watching you guys. You sound like your wife. Oh, that's cool. That's really cool. I'm a really good friend. I don't know if I was the best wife or not. I loved them. I loved each and every one of them when we were married, but I think I was too independent. I think I was too independent. The last one told, and I'm a widow now. I didn't divorce them. 2 of them passed away. I divorced one, but we were still friends. But like if I came home, and I know people don't wear animals anymore, blah, blah, blah. But if I said, for example, I wanted or I saw something on TV, and it could have been, for example, a mink coat. And I said, "Oh, that's cute. Oh, I like that one." And he said he would come home, and he would it would be on the bed. I could go get my own because I started Howard University when I was 17. I graduated when I was 21. I became a police officer, I think, when I was 24. And I had a son. I was a mother of two. Drop said his mother. Yeah, that's what my scout car partner told me, because then we wore a skirt sometimes. It was terrible. Who sends people out for a bank robbery in a skirt and a white hat running down the alley chasing some dude? What? 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 But I look at some of the pictures from back then when I got up to 135, Sam Brown belt, everything. And I asked my mom, I said, "Mom, how did you guys let me do that? I could have gotten hurt." Oh, Job said he's on number three. I'm sorry, Jobs, but I'm happy you're you're happy now. Nikki said, "Howard, you?" Yes, I was a major red. I was on the gymnastics team. I was always athletic. As a matter of fact, up until 10 years ago, when I lived on some family property in North Carolina, Donzel, hey nephew, if I didn't say hello, 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 when I was on the family property, my brother said, "Hey sis, who unloads the truck?" Because I had Cane Corso Italian Mastiffs and goats and chickens and Doug Muscovy ducks. There were times when I had horses, bunch of stuff. But at this point, I lived on the property alone. And who unloaded those 50-pound bags of dog food and goat feed and corn? Was me. I did it myself. Hey, sissy. Joanne Stevens. She's saying hello to everyone in chat. So, yeah. So now I choose not to, because they're saying that I've got this wrong with my shoulder. I've got that wrong. You did long distance running, pole vault. No pole. That's funny. I used to run track, basketball. One day I will get my high school yearbooks out. I played basketball. I ran track, gymnastics, whatever I thought I wanted to do, I did. And my parents encouraged us. Encouraged us. So, what are we doing here? Those of you who came to see me didn't want to hear what I did. What? Oh my gosh. Almost 60 years ago, because I graduated high school when I was 17. I graduated college when I was 21. So I've always had a degree in something. Plus, I had all these certificates because mom and dad always said, when you do something, do it the best you can. I remember daddy always worked three jobs. He worked at night as a maintenance man in a printing factory. I want to say 40 years. He retired from there, but there were years at a time. He never took one day off for sick leave. He hurt his finger, knocked his nail off, smashed it. He went, got it wrapped, went back to work. We went to school. It wasn't like they have these incurable stuff now that's going around and the whole country shuts down. But we went to school. We didn't have a sick day. And if you stayed home because you were sick, guess what? Oh, yeah, don't think mommy didn't have some chores for your little butt. Mommy, I'm talking about you, mother. Mommy's so cute. Sunday she was asking me about things on the show. And, you guys keep me young. You guys keep me relevant because If I want to feel lazy or I have something planned, I'll say, well, I said I was going to do this. I live about an hour away from my mom in on a good day, and she gets to spend time with me 2 times a week. See what I'm doing. See what a mess is in the background. Oh, this bell, by the way, drops in all y'all. That was Lilac's bell. She was my lead goat. So look what I did, you guys. You see that? I changed my artwork around a little bit. Miss Mignon isn't up there because I had a helper. I didn't climb up on the sofa. You see that's a sofa over there, you guys? Yes, her 76-year-old butt would climb up on the arm of it and reach up there to change her art around. I did a lot of stuff, Donzel. I did. Smack 'em that. Yes, but I'll tell you what. I promise you guys, those of you. Oh, don't forget to give the thumbs up, you guys. I don't know how to tell if there's a thumbs up. I don't even know how to pull the chat up on my phone. I'll see if I can to see if you're being bad in the background. I did put on my do not disturb sign to. I'll figure it out later. I'm not sure. I am not sure. I'm not even sure if I'm live on YouTube. Yeah, I am. It says I am. It says Facebook and YouTube, but I'll figure it out. And it says, oh, that looks beautiful. It's looking back through a window in time. It's a crazy quilt with bits and pieces of fabric from around the world, pieces that were gifted to me, pieces of my grandmother's crochet. I'm feeling my face, you guys. I always brush my teeth. I always brush my teeth and get ready, put my little Abilene moisturizer on, but I don't know if I wiped it off. I was rushing to get here on time, a little bit early. Darth X says, you got good times rolling your head, face blue, smiling. Be careful on it. Oh, you know what? When I lived in my house in LA, I lived in a couple of houses, but the last one, Auntie Joanne took me driving by there last time we drove from Arizona to LA, and I went by my old house in Baldwin Hills, and the rose bushes that we planted were still there. I still have my high school scrapbooks from 1964, 1965, and 1966. You do like the roses? I That house was like cantilevered. It was like down. It was on several levels. My husband was a high rise contractor, and we built a 6 foot wall around the property. But you could go, and then you went down some steps, and there was a deck. Then you went down more steps, and there was a garden. Daddy said, Pen Pen, my nickname is Penny. He said, you can't eat the flowers. So he planted collards in between all of these 6 foot bushes. I forget the names of them, but you do like everybody's saying hi, hi, hi. So I like they're saying be careful, Auntie. So I try not to do dangerous things when I'm home alone. So I do have an aide that comes in 3 times a week for a couple of hours to help with the things that I can't do, like climbing up on top of that. Those These are 6 foot bookcases, and there are hampers on top of that with quilts on it. That big silver bowl is 40 quarts or 5 gallons. It says 5 gallons. And I use that when I'm canning. We always had a garden growing up. And speaking of which, it's it's in the 30s at night, you guys, here in Connecticut. Last year, my last butternut squash was bigger than this one. So you saw a different squash last week. It still had the dirt on it. This one I can feel is still a little bit gritty, but I'm going to save it. Maybe it has seeds, maybe not. But this was the last of those. I I harvested echinacea. There are hundreds and hundreds of echinacea seeds in here that I will be sharing soon. Oh, these are the butternut squash from last year, 2023. I'll be sharing those. What else? So, my birth anniversary is next month. Oh, more butternut squash. Last year, I gave away all of them. I didn't even save any for myself except for the one that was on the table, and it lasted all that time. Oh, here's some yarrow from my garden, green peppers. So I will be sharing and sharing. Let me see if I can get to the bottom of the chat or not. A split level? Are you talking about my house drops? No. Um it was a single level, but then my husband, because he was a contractor, he built put a hole in the floor in the den and put stairs down there. Then out underneath the deck, I think that deck was 40 feet by 40 feet. It was made of steel because he was licensed to work with steel himself. And I had a little office underneath there when I was going to law school for a few years. I went to law school for 2 years, and I had a 15-foot wide by 40-foot office down there with all my books and stuff. He didn't like me going out there at night studying by myself, but I loved it. I like being alone. I love having family. I love having real friends. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. When I love them dearly. But then when I come here, my aide was saying the other day, and I said, my sister Joanne Stevens is in here. She has plenty of room. She was going to give me 2 bedrooms and a bathroom at her house, her and Uncle Roscoe. But I love to visit. I usually go out there for a month, but I'm not going out this winter. I'm going for a month in May. Why? Because it's her birth anniversary and it's a big one coming up. So I will go out there and spoil them and tear up the house and the yard because I'm a guerrilla gardener and I do stuff. I do stuff. Don't I, sissy? People would say, my mother would tell daddy, oh, Pen Pen did this, Pen Pen did that. And he'd be like, the good daughter? Yeah, the daughter from you know where. Speaking of which, can you guys hear me? Because, put a 1 in the chat if you can still hear me. This chat is doing something funny. Drop said he's being his typical self, all of y'all, because where is it? I have some things to show you. Some show and tell. I showed you the squash, but oh, my nose is so snuffy. So snuffy. So this Sharita, I took it out of the box. Sharita is my granddaughter, and she bought this either for Christmas or Mother's Day, and I didn't open it yet, but it has a 4.5 liter capacity, which is, I think, a little bit over a gallon. Quiet operation night light. Nobody needs a night light. They have she has her TV on at night trying to watch restreams, watch people's different broadcasts without glasses, and then type in, looks like I'm speaking hieroglyphics or something. Okay, so it tells the noise level, the weight, it has 1.1 9 gallons of water. Oh, that's why I didn't start it this time, because they said to use distilled water. Because if you don't use distilled water, it'll get some white film in, especially the first time, and to put some vinegar or something. So I didn't do that yet, but when my aide comes tomorrow, we'll handle that. I do have filters for water, but I'll have her pick up some gallons of distilled water till I get it going. It's like a coffee pot, the kind you pour the water through, and they say to clean them out with vinegar every now and again. So, what am I working on? I have so much to tell you all. So, GQUAT, for those of you who are new or watching the replay, stands for Garden, Quilt, and Art Show. Uh, As you see on the bottom, I started quilting in my 50s because my mother wanted a quilt, a handmade quilt. Dart said, "Do you do?" Oh, and I couldn't find anybody to pay to do it. So I bought the fabric, bought a book. I've always known how to sew. I started sewing by hand when I was about 6 or 7 years old in Girl Scouts and Brownie. And growing up in Connecticut, I was the only brown brownie in my troop. So we learned how to sew by hand, and that was one of the badges. Let me see if I can pull this down. Feels like I'm missing something. Oh, Frugal, you are here. Tigsy enjoys gardening and life. I enjoy you too. I see you on something. K. Renee's garden. Oh, you heard me talking about my flowers over there in Baldwin's Hills. Oh, and you know what? Now that I'm thinking about it, Drops asking me about the different levels. We could sit on one of the decks and just look out. And Stalker is a street that runs from one part, like from almost the Marina Del Rey, down into the inner city. I forgot what they call that part now in LA. And it was the excuse me, the house was up in the hills, and we had, you could see planes landing at LAX and everything. So on the way on the other side of Stalker was this area of town called View Park. So you could see the houses over there, but you never looked at them. So my sister Joanne Stevens came over one day, and I had a telescope, not a telescope, whatever it was, on a stand, and binoculars, and she was looking around over on the View Park side, and all of a sudden she screamed and she dropped the binoculars. Well, my husband and my dad used to tease each other, say, "Joe, what you looking at?" Or Brooks was my husband's name. Actually, that was his last name. I just called him Brooks. And he said, "Looking at that lady over there walking around, getting stuff out the cabinet with her nightgown on," or something funny. So the day my sister screamed and dropped the binoculars, she said somebody had on their their binoculars or their scope and watching us. I'm like, what? I've been walking out here in my nightgown or less for whatever, never imagining people a mile away could see into our area. So after that, you know what I did the next day? I went and got a high powered device. I could see all up and down around there. But that was me. And when I used to walk the dogs, we had Great Danes at that time. I had almost had a heat stroke one day. I walked with those little rubber things on, trying to sweat my stomach off and my boom boom Nikki and my boom boom, and I got overheated. And I sat on a lady's step. She came out, put some ice around me. She was a nurse. Called my husband, and he came up the hill to get me and bring me home. But I've always tried to work out every day a little. I used to jog 2 miles every day. But there was a time when I was training, I had to jog with gear on, right? So, going back to the garden quilt and art show in our chit chat, let me show you one of the very first quilts. That quilt I showed you on the wall, it has hand embroidery and a lot of stuff that I collected over the 75 years I've been on Earth. But I didn't know how to quilt. I told you, Mommy wanted a big quilt. So this is one of my first quilts. And I'm looking at it because my OCD-ishness now, I can see things that could have been done better, but I was so proud of it. I didn't know how to make labels then. So this says this is this little mini quilt is called Autumn Sunset. And in the back I called myself machine quilting it and just following some of the the pattern lines and stitching in the ditch. And guess what? The rows weren't straight. I liked this fabric because it was my first time buying like ethnic fabrics, and I see a string on the back. I intentionally didn't cut it because I wanted you guys to see it's been there 19 years. 19 years, but it was put up, and I used to just hang it on the wall. It's a sort of log cabin quilt, and I didn't know how. If Maria Graham comes in, my sister Joanne certainly knows I know how to miter corners now, and I teach that. But I just turn the edges down because I was just doing whatever made me happy. Whatever made me happy. So I say that to tell you guys, nobody starts at the top when you're learning to quilt. I have a new aide that just started last Wednesday, and guess what? I taught her how to quilt already, how to make some blocks. Maybe I'll attach her photo of her sewing on this machine. She's making a. She started off helping me put some blocks together. Excuse me. Then I found some ugly fabric. They say that there's no such thing as ugly fabric. You just didn't cut it small enough. But I had this red fabric that I bought 167 yards of, and some frock fabric that I bought 15 yards of in Arizona. So this young lady helped me put some blocks together for one of my great granddaughters for Christmas for her new apartment. She came by. Make sure a red line under video is to the right. Joanne saying, true story. Oh, all these stories are real, you guys. You might think I'm making them up. Some people make up stuff just to have content. Baby, I live my life, all of it. Unbiased LLC, David Corey with Crop. Unbiased is sewing and listening. Sure, you're not late. You get here. Scorpios rock. I am a Scorpio, and my birthday is coming up. So that is what I was showing you about one of my first quilts 19 years ago. And I didn't start it, and I didn't know how to make scrap quilts either. I used to buy all this fancy fabric. At the end of it, I would take it, and there were a couple ladies in my quilting guild, and it would be all ironed and bagged up. And I said, what do you do with that? And because all I knew how to do was buy matchy fabrics to make things in these fancy groups I was going to. And she said, I make scrap quilts. Well, finally, I went to a meeting where a lady had written a book about scrap quilts. I've been scrap quilting ever since. And speaking of which, I'm doing a challenge now with Greenland Katie, and some of the fabrics, feels like I feel dust, you guys. Some of the fabrics I've collected over the years when I was straightening fabric out or doing something. And I said, that's too ugly. I gave most of it away. But I had planned on doing this particular scrap quilt one day. I've had the 6.5 inch muslin blocks that I put on the back. I've had this cut for years and years and years. Let me try something. Why do I look small? I don't know if I look small to you guys. La 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 la. Or maybe I'm just looking small to myself. Uh oh. I shouldn't have done that. Uh, so, I don't know if you guys can see me. Uh oh. I don't want to do that. I want to cancel that. So, I might have to get somebody to talk me out of here. Oh, there I am. I can see myself. I'm busy. Never. I promise you this, you guys. I'll promise you the same thing. I promise my 3 husbands, you'll never be bored. You will never be bored. So I took some of the scraps out, and I do look small. I don't know why. I don't know why. So I'll just stay small because wait a minute, if I don't say small, I might disappear. I'll figure it out afterwards. But it does have a little border in there. Maybe I'll take that out. So I'll just keep going. So this is a block that I made with some scraps. And it looks ugly now because it has all these ugly fabrics. Oh, Mike says I'm good now. I'm bigger now. Okay. I just keep doing something. I do something, even if it's wrong. You guys will never be bored. So this is one block. This block consists of 4 little blocks of scraps. And then here's another block. So I think these are 13 and 14 out of 30. And when I get them all together, I will assemble them. So you can kind of see where it's going. So this diamond up here will connect to this diamond, and there will be diamonds on the side, and no 2 blocks are the same. Chat comments are a little behind. I don't know what to do about that. Or maybe it's because I didn't scroll down on them. La 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 la. So I don't know what to do about that, but just keep going. So the chat comments are a little bit behind. No, it's normal now. David says I'm normal. I'm normal, David. Ain't nothing normal about me. Except, guess what? Now I touch something and I can't even see the screen. So, uh-oh. Tigsy said that will be a beautiful quilt. Thank you. Thank you, Tigsy. So, ah, don't get old, you guys. I can see the chat now, but I'm looking at all these. Look at all these ugly fabrics. No, they weren't in one quilt, they were in different ones and in these blocks. So you can see where you can kind of see through them, all the little pieces I put together. But it's a labor of love, and there are pieces of fabrics from all over the world. How many of you like sports? How many of you like sports? Of course, they talk about the boys of September. They're talking about baseball. And I get books to read to my great great grandson. And I pile them up until I see him a couple times a month. Joanne says, "Tell me to shush," Blueface smiling. I vanished myself again? Oh, I did. Oh, I'm back. Oh, my sister says I'm doing an ugly quilt is a great idea. I used to make Afghans. My mother made this one. I'm supposed to be selling it for her. I didn't post it yet, Mother. And it's called A Rose in Bloom. But I used to take all my leftover fabrics and make these ugly, ugly Afghans. I'm sure my sister Joanne still has one. So I was looking through. Joanne says she loves sports. Her granddaughter plays softball for UCLA. She's a starter. Taylor Stevens, if you follow girls baseball. But I found this book too, and everybody in the family plays all kinds of sports, and this one is about baseball. So Mike said I keep pushing buttons. Yeah, I keep pushing buttons. I push y'all's buttons too. Sometimes I can push anybody's buttons. This book is by Lynn Charles, and I'm not infringing on anybody's copyright. I'm just sharing this for educational purposes because I opened the book and we didn't go to ball games like the Mets games or the Yankees or anything or the Brooklyn Dodgers. I grew up in Connecticut. So there were 6 kids, mom, dad, and my grandmothers and everybody. There were too many of us. So we didn't afford to go to. Drop said, sorry, dealing with a friend that needs financial and real estate. So I opened this book, and my great grandkids love going to ball games. They go to the different games, but I don't know if you guys remember the song. I saw this and I started singing it. I hadn't said need to start an ugly quilt trend. Okay, Mike, are you gonna join us? I'll send you some scraps. I'll send you some scraps. Okay, I'll tell you who's making a strip quilt project challenge. Unbiased LLC is doing one. Greenland Katie is doing one. Joanne Stevens. Excuse me. Breathing. And so it says, take me out to the ball game. Take me out with the crowd. Buy me some peanuts and cracker jacks. I don't care if I never get back. Let me root for the home team. If they don't win, it's a shame. For it's 1, 2, 3 strikes, you're out at the old ball game. I hadn't thunk about that song in so long. So then they talk about the history of baseball, and I like this book because it had really children's books have big writing in them. And then, like I said, I grew up in Connecticut, and they started talking about baseball, and I saw this black cat. And I remember reading about and seeing where Jackie Robinson, when he played baseball for the Brooklyn Dodgers, and it was like during segregation times then, people of all races could not play all sports until Jackie Robinson. So I put a pin in here because it started talking about this, and Jackie Robinson actually lived in Stamford, Connecticut, where we grew up. David Corey said, you tell me. You love that song. Nikki, you just didn't like me singing it. I've heard people sing the Star Spangled Banner and sing it worse. Oh, you know what? David Corey, one of your shorts. Nope, I didn't comment on it, but I do see your stuff. And you had Ray Charles singing America. That just gives me goosebumps. And you know what? I'm taking a sidetrack and I don't want to hear it. If you say any, we're not going to talk about politics here, but it's an election year. It's time to vote. I've got my absentee ballot over there because I'm going to have somebody drop me to town hall and put it in the box myself. I'm going to make sure that it gets there. But you know, America, 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 God shed His grace on thee. What's wrong with America is the things that used to unite us, singing those songs in school, Willie Nelson singing it. You know, it was always so touching. That, you know, saying the Lord's Prayer, saying the things that, whether you believed in it or not, I understand people's right to free this, that, and the other. Hey, Miss Shirley, the everyday life of an OCD-ish chick. David, I appreciate you too. So, yeah, you guys just keep. One of my closest friends lives in my building. She is an older Caucasian woman. She's Jewish. We have we have different religions, different skin colors, different opinions about everything. But Nikki said my singing was fantastic. A hot mess. A hot mess. And but she and I, like the maintenance staff, the people in the office said, if you saw us sitting on a bench, you wouldn't even think we knew each other. We are so unalike. But you know what? She adores me and I adore her. Who has the extra keys to her apartment in case her fancy lawyer brother from the University of Southern California can't get here to see about her? It's me. We were driving by on the handicap bus, going by a building one day near the hospital, and she said, "See that building over there?" I said, "Yeah." She said, "My grandfather used to own that building." What? For really real? For really real? And we're like the odd couple, the oddest couple. But you know what? We respect each other's right to be different. That's not chat button. You make yourself vanish. Oh, can you see me now? Okay. Can you see me now? Oh, Lord have mercy. Can you imagine? Imagine. GQUAT, stop hitting buttons. Where are you going? Not on screen. Okay, David. I stopped hitting buttons. Now I did. Okay, I'm not going to touch that button. I'm pushing you all's button. But thanks for hanging with me. So, they were talking about baseball. Back then, they had the Negro Leagues and the Major Leagues. Now, I'm happy to say, the leagues are combined. All the statistics are combined. And they were talking about when World War II was over and baseball confronted the worst of America, the festering issue of race. Speaking of politics, race, whatever, after DiMaggio and Williams and other veterans returned to the game in 1946, they decided it was the time for a change. Branch Rickey of the Brooklyn Dodgers courageously defied the unspoken rule and hired an African American to play Major League Baseball. Jackie Robinson was a military veteran and a superb all around athlete. Handsome, with immense personal dignity and charisma, he had a scrappy, daring style of play. And this talks about how Nikki said, "Can't take Auntie nowhere." And there's Jackie Robinson strutting, stealing base. That's where they get the term. You know, the ultimate thing is to get a home run or to get to home and to get on base. But stealing home, that took the utmost chutzpah. Chutzpah is a Yiddish word. It means cojones, huevos, whatever. But yeah, it means being bold. David's talking about Nikki. Can't take Auntie nowhere. Nowhere. So I enjoy you guys. I think you guys enjoy me. It's like visiting your nanners. So, what am I working on in the creative world? Trying to see what I could show you guys without trashing, crashing the whole apartment. Nikki, she reading about you. Oh, the handsome guy, David. You are handsome. You are handsome. All of you guys are good looking. I think I think everybody in here knows that you are because you know what? I think that you wouldn't be posting videos if you were insecure or thought that something was wrong with you. I actually started posting videos as part of therapy because I didn't like looking at my face and looking at my face, and I wouldn't FaceTime 10 years ago for personal reasons, and even on family chats. Now I'm like, okay, I am what I am, like Popeye and olive oil. So I'm not pushing any buttons, David. Oh, you mean Jackie? Oh, and so I'm not pushing any buttons, but my, because I have some help now to do things. And I'm not climbing up, reaching up. I started a quilt for one of my great granddaughters, a rag quilt. So I've got 4 quilts I've got to get out the door by Christmas. I've got to get Dolores was in here a minute ago. Tracy's good looking. All of y'all are good looking. Y'all fine. Darth X said he thinks something. Oh, sometimes when I push buttons, when they tell me the chat was behind, okay, I'm gonna push something else. Uh-oh, it happened again. I stopped. Okay, I stopped. All the I stopped. But I was trying to get to the bottom of the chat. Never a dull moment, I promise you guys. So I'm making these. I already had some of these blocks cut out, some of the batting cut out. I'm making. You have a huge head, Darth X. That you got to have somewhere to keep brains in, right? I remember you saying you were smart. You're beautiful, Auntie. Thank you, Mike. Thank you, Mike. Unbiased. All of us. All of David Corey. I see you chopping and dropping all that comfrey. I need some comfrey, you guys. I need to make some salve for my little things, all my little things, not for open wounds. I know the pros and cons about comfrey, and I need some that's already rooted so that I can put out here. And I want to make some comfrey salve. So, 2 of my great granddaughters, I only have 2, they both are becoming independent and getting their own places. So, I wanted to give them a quilt for Christmas. No, they're not going to see this. You know why? I have 2 children. They both work. They're working during the day. But you know what? Grandma, my mother, she watches the show and she tells them what I'm doing, when I'm being bad, when I'm acting up and doing things. And then, so my 2 children, they're working. I have 2 grandchildren, they're working. I have 5 great grandchildren. One is still in school. The other, I mean, high school. One is still in high school. He's a basketball player. He's 6'2", he's 16. He bends down and kisses Nana and comes to give me a little kiss when I go there. And I entertain myself. And then you all are all adopted. Why? Because good friends become family, and family is everything. So I had these blocks already cut up. I had like 26 of these. So I needed 48 to do the front. Then I found this. Oh, actually, this for the back. for Sydney's quilt, and I didn't have enough of either. So I had some leftover pink, and she's getting pink. Her sister's getting pink. And yeah, so that's what I'm doing for Christmas. How many of you are making? David, you're going to send me some, lend me some, give me some. Thank you, David. You got me. I got you too. I have all you all. I wish I was close enough so that you could come by. I like to cook. I don't know how to cook a little bit. I don't know. When I'm at Auntie Joanne's house, I cook so much stuff. It is stuck in the freezer. There's bread, there's cornbread, there's like all kinds of stuff. Tracy said, "You love me, Auntie Ellen." You know what? Thank you, because I'm 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 different. I'm different, and I'm not making excuses for it. But people either love me or hate me. Ever since childhood, and I'd want to go outside. Some of the girls want to fight me, or I mean, all kinds of stuff. Dolores, you didn't see your Christmas gift over there. Oh, but you have stuff coming. I wish you all were all in the same land. Well, the thing of it is, oh, like Daddy, we lived in Connecticut, but one time he bought 20 acres of land in New Jersey. It was near Atlantic City. And his goal was to give each of his children an acre of land. But then we found out that they passed Greenland's laws or something, and you could only build a house on 5 acres. Then they changed the law, and you could only build one house on 10 acres. So they ended up cooking, Queen, best food in town. Cooking, cooking, cooking. It depends on what town you're in. I can cook. I can cook. I can cook. I can cook anything. If you unalive it, I can cook it. I can cook anything. Uncle Roscoe used to go crawdadding, bring crawdads home. Scorpions are very true friends, but we don't play. When I'm good, I'm very good. When I'm bad, baby, you don't want no parts of this. I remember I was at that house in Baldwin Hills I told you about, and Daddy was out there working with my husband and I. At the time, we co-owned the construction business, even though I did other work. And I was trying to get my dad to do something. And in construction, there is a timeline. Like, you can't put plaster on the walls, I want to say, for example, until the electricians have done their job. There are other things. I didn't know. David said, I look like I can cook. I can cook. You can, oh, you don't want to see my sofa. Oh, you guys are going to die laughing. You're going to die laughing. I'll show you in a minute. And Daddy, well, one time he told me I was going to work my other job in the legal business, and I had on a suit. I was a senior corporate paralegal, my little heels, my pearls. And Daddy looked at me. He said, Pen Pen, do you take time to smell the roses? I didn't. I didn't. I was always rushing to get the next step higher, to get the next set of pearls, the next mink coat, the next whatever, the next fancy car. I didn't take time to enjoy what I even had. Then, but my parents would get you, they could get you straight. They could get you straight. And then Daddy looked at me one day. I wanted something done on the property. And Daddy looked at me. He said, You are so exasperating. That's the one time he really told me. He said, When you can't have your way, you won't do no way at all. The daughter from HE double rails. That's what he had. That's what he had. Even when I was an adult, I moved back home. He had a traumatic brain injury one time, and I moved back in the family house. Well, there's 9 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms. There's plenty of room. Everybody could still live there if they wanted to. I needed my own space, but when I would get on Daddy's nerve, he would say, Go to your room. Go to your room. When I was getting on his nerves. And you know how you can tell when you're old? When you're sitting at the kitchen table or the kitchen counter with your mom and your dad, just you and your mom and dad, and you've got three baskets sitting there with your medications in it, and you're all taking the same thing. Daddy would say, Mommy would say, "That's Daddy's medicine. Oh, you have mine." So that's when you can tell that you're getting old. That's when you can tell that you are getting old. And we were not allowed to. You're cooking 15 bean soup, Miss Shirley, sweet potato leaves, and tree collards, and cornbread. I make good cornbread. But you know how I started making cornbread? One time, times were hard or whatever, or there was no bread in the house. I had some flour, I had some cornmeal, and you always have the basic stuff like baking powder and whatnot. I made cornbread. I've been making it ever since. And another time in LA, I lived near Venice Beach, and everybody knew that I cooked on Sunday. Big pots of food. So they drove by the beach, and the door was open. You couldn't park at the beach. So they'd come and park and get something to eat. Go to Venice Beach. That was fun. Lived right down from, touch something else again. I am always doing something. Miss Shirley said, I cooked a whole pack of beans Saturday. I gave some to my granddaughter to take home. I gave some to a neighbor. I took some to mommy's house. A big thing of rice. It's like, why did you cook so much? I don't know. You made some sweet potato casserole, I think. You've been sitting on the. I'm scared to touch anything, you guys. Every time I do something wrong. But at least I do something right. Some people are afraid to live their life. They're afraid to go out and do things. So, how many of you are still canning? How many of you are still canning, still gardening? I didn't get my garlic in the ground yet. I didn't even go get the stupid garlic yet. I'm going to the farmer's market a couple blocks away this Sunday. I want to, Tracy, you want some. You want some what, David? What you want, some? Hands off buttons. Mike, you've been sitting on the corner of OGS Street waiting. OG Street, OG Street waiting. I One of my great granddaughters I told you just got her first apartment, so she came by here Saturday. I loaded her up. I loaded her up. Went through my freezer, my refrigerator, pantry. She posted it on the family chat. We have a family chat. You push one button and there's like 12 people on FaceTime, and that's how we get in touch with each other. And she said, Nana, hook me up. I bought her pots and pans, a couple little dishes, because no need to have them in the sink dirty. Eat with paper plates at her age. Donnell Cooper, Donzel Cooper, said he likes paper plates. They do too. You have one slice left. Tastes like sweet potatoes, PIA. Good for you. Oh, and everybody cooks. I want to show you guys something funny because I live in a one bedroom apartment. Everything has to multitask. But I think David Corey said something about sitting on my couch. I want to show you the couch. Do you say this? It's an 8-foot couch. But you see what's going on? I have purple pillows. Mother, I patched your black butterfly pillow. I mean, dragonfly pillow. It's ready to go. The pink one and the white underneath that is Dolores's. The two pink ones belong to my two great granddaughters. And I have about I have about 15 more pillows in there on the guest bed that have to go out before Christmas. Tracy said she's canning and dehydrating. I saw you. I saw you, Tracy. I watch you. I watch you all. But you see me, even with my glasses on, pushing buttons. I'm dangerous. I can't chat. It looks like when Auntie's chatting at night, it looks like somebody from another planet is typing in there. Is typing in there. So, you guys, I won't hold you up. Miss Shirley, OG is going live tonight at 7 o'clock. Of course, I will be sleeping. That's where Mike's gonna be. You gonna be in what other room? Neck bone pillows? Yeah, all neck bone pillows. Everybody is addicted to. Oh, my new aide, my new helper. She started last Wednesday. Saturday, she went home. She knew how to sew already. I taught her how to sew, and I taught her how to make a neck bone pillow. She cut out the pink ones for me, and her gift, I showed her how to make a neck bone pillow with the straps on them. I like mine with straps. Mother, Miss Shirley OG is saying hello. My mother loves that when you guys say hello to her. She thinks she's a movie star. She's a star. Love you, Mother. So, you guys, now it's time to say goodbye to all our lovely friends in American Sign Language. This is an I. This is an L. Oh, this big old watch I wear. Somebody asked me. This was Daddy's everyday watch. He didn't wear a watch before he retired because he was in construction. And so this one has a chronograph and all the stuff. GQUAT, I am the what? I'm a hot mess. So, Tigsy, we have to. You're the sweetest. Thank you. When I'm sweet, I'm very sweet. When I'm not, trust me, I am all the way not. All the way not. And I do the best I can. But I love to be loved. I love to be loving. But when that line is crossed, I don't know what's going to happen. So, peace, love, and blessings to everyone. Have a good evening. Joanne Stevens is saying good evening. Mike is saying good evening. Kay sings, hello. I didn't see you, but I see others speaking to you. So I will say goodbye to all.